Hi, thank you for your question. It's actually very refreshing to get this question from somebody with good intention because typically when I get comments like this, it's from people that make comments like, I'm so glad that when I was growing up as a tomboy, my parents didn't make me transition. As if any parent in the world would have a daughter come up to them and be like, hey, I like G.I. Joes, and their first instinct is, we're getting you on testosterone. It just doesn't happen like that. But I actually get this question a lot. Primarily I get it from a lot of masculine lesbians. They'll be wondering, if transitioning is the right step for them. I presented as a masculine lesbian for a while before I transitioned. But actually, when I was growing up, I was not a tomboy. Not only was I not a tomboy, I was in gymnastics. I have a lot of awards. I was in dance. I was in hip hop, jazz, ballet, tap. This is me as a little girl before one of my, I don't know if it was a recital or just practice, I don't know. So since I've never been a tomboy, I can't really say what it's like to be a tomboy, but I can definitely with 100% confidence say I am sure it is much different than gender dysphoria. So I was on hormones for years. I'm not anymore. I've had top surgery. And I can't stress enough how I would have never taken those routes of permanently altering my body. Surgery can be dangerous. It has risks. You know what I mean? I had a very lengthy recovery period. I would have never chosen to do those things just because I didn't fit the mold of a traditional woman or whatever. A lot of people will argue, well, why can't you just be a masculine woman? Why can't you just, you can still date men and be a masculine woman. You don't have to be a typical woman. But that logic doesn't apply when somebody has gender dysphoria to the point where their brain doesn't even recognize themselves as a woman. There's studies out there that support that male and female brains are different. There's studies that say they're both the same. I don't know. What I do know is that I constantly have to remind myself that I, was assigned female at birth. Biologically, personally, my husband and I were both trans men. We do believe in biological sex. Not everyone does, whatever. Biologically, I'm primarily a woman, and I have to remind myself of that because my brain automatically doesn't think that. And for years growing up, that manifested in me just constantly dissociating. I had severe anger, mental health issues, you know what I mean? I was in and out of I was in this, oh my God, I was an outpatient since I was 5 or 6 years old. And trigger warning, I'm going to talk about stuff that's a little rough. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. At only 5 or 6 years old, the reason I had to go into outpatient. Now, I have a 10-year-old, so half of my son's age. This was me at that time. I was so angry at my parents and God for having me be born into a life that I didn't want to live, that I literally wanted to myself, and I started talking about it, and my parents, they were just shocked because I was so young and I was vocalizing that I didn't want to be here anymore. And honestly, that's just something I know that that happened to me because sometimes my family will talk about it and how scary it was. But I didn't realize until I had a son, and he was that age, how scary that would be because, I mean, that's just a baby. I remember literally being in the pickup truck with my dad. He was driving me back to my mom's, and I remember I told him that I wanted to myself, you know what I mean? And he was so upset. He was crying, and he kept stopping the car and begging me, "Don't say that. Don't say that. Why are you saying that?" But I meant it. And of course, I didn't know that I was trans at the time. I know there's some people that do. I shouldn't say of course. But I didn't know. I didn't know. I didn't even know what it meant to be trans. But never once was it oh, I don't like Barbies. I like wearing basketball shorts. I think I'm going to transition. No, way deeper than that. People who push this agenda, especially detransitioners, and I'm saying that as somebody, I've been transitioning for, uh, what, 8 or 9 years, 8 years at least, I think. And during that time, I detransitioned for a month when I had to go off hormones. So I have been a detransitioner in the past. But a lot of detransitioners, and most of them are adult detransitioners, which it is a little frustrating because it's you're a full grown ass adult take accountability for your decisions. Not you, but like the people I'm referring to. But, they'll get on hormones, they'll get surgeries, they'll claim they were pressured by society. And they'll push this agenda that, like, they were just tomboys. They were just tomboys who got heavily influenced. And that's just not reality. I am usually never one to be like, just because somebody else's reality is different from mine, it's wrong. But in order to go on hormones, like I do agree that it is a little too easy in some scenarios. But to be an adult making conscious decisions like, oh, I am going to go on hormones. I, as an adult, I am going to get like a surgery that's going to permanently alter my body. They are adults making decisions, and they should be making those decisions based on sound facts and, obviously prolonged periods of needing those interventions. If they're waking up one morning and saying, "Oh my God, because I wear sweatpants and like wife beaters, I think that I should transition." That's not society's fault, and that's not a rational narrative to be spreading around. I didn't transition medically until I was 26 years old. And by that time, I had been on paper, just on paper, in therapy with like gender dysphoria for, I think it was 8 years, because it was like 2008. Even then, I still had to get medical clearance, a medical referral. I had to get what else? I had to get 2 letters just to get top surgery, and just to get hormones. I had to go through a waiting period because I'm bipolar. So I had to have like my med provider clear it. I had to like they had to make sure everything was all set. I think I had to have labs beforehand. So it's not like a type of thing. They really minimize it, is what I'm trying to say. So yeah, no matter how many like, detransitioners or politicians or anyone pushes a narrative that like, oh, because you don't conform traditionally to what society expects women to do or look like, that means you need to be on the next bus to get hormones. That's not rational. I really wouldn't worry about it. I first started socially transitioning in 2006, I think it was. This is me then. And I mean, it's been a long road since then. I've been in and out of the closet. I didn't even start medically transitioning till, God, what, like 10 years later? Transitioning has been a process that has not been easy. It has not always been graceful. It has been painful. It has been very hard. It has been freeing, and there's a lot of positive emotions, but it's been a very lengthy and sometimes very harrowing process. And anyone who tries to promote this, ideology that not liking Barbies one day is, what causes people to, catch the trans, it's not real. And I think you're fine, and I don't think you have anything to worry about.